Except with equanimity, the intermingling of good and evil, and then God will resolve all inequity. St. Mark the Ascetic. On the Spiritual Law, 200 texts. Yep. There is always going to be an intermingling of good and evil. God allows it. So it must be done. His will is done with that. God will resolve all inequity. God does resolve it because he is the one that brings it. Not inequity, that is, but inequities amongst others. He is going to be the great equalizer. Because of this intermingling of good and evil, you're not gonna have equality at all. And all men are created equal. Sure, we're born out of God's grace, and we're born in His mind. But we have to come back to retain that grace and to retain the fact that there is good and evil amongst us, and it does affect our beings. That's spiritual as well as physical. And with that, we return to God to resolve that inequity. Because if God wills it and God allows it, then there must be a reason for that inequity. And that's just derived from the whole paradigm of there being good and evil, no matter what the case is. And that's in our fallen nature, that's in our human nature, that's what drives us to recognize that. Because without it, there would be no dynamic and no need for God. And that's what reaffirms the faith, and what reaffirms that that need for the sin and repentance too. Because without it, then we wouldn't have a need to call upon the Lord, to call upon God. And there is a sense of strength within that, because resolving that inequity is going to intermingle with the good and the evil. And that's how we know if God is going to resolve it, that it is how we know in our nature that we are outside of God's nature and the divine. However, having God being able to resolve it, we know from there that reaffirms the faith that we have that ability to intermingle with both of those things, and that is also what makes it beyond comprehension. That's just beyond comprehension with that, because of the fact that God is above this, and that He is going to give grace to it and make the good and the evil disappear to resolve that iniquity.